Okay, so cool. So what's the first one? Open houses? Is that the first one?
Yeah, we can start with open houses.
Okay, problems with open houses. There's a bunch of them. Number one, home is not priced correctly. So I don't give a crap. I mean, other than signage, if it's a home that is overpriced, it's not going to drive traffic. Number two, the marketing around the open house. Even if it's not someone's listing, it needs to be in the MLS that an open house is coming. I would also do teaser photo and video. I like to do them either just the outside of the house or a video of you standing in front of the house, inviting people to the open house. So just improper marketing around the open house is usually a problem. So not priced right, improper marketing. I like to make sure my open house marketing starts at the latest on a Wednesday if my open house is on a Saturday or Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of agents decide on doing an open house on Thursday or Friday. It's like there's no way you can do this right. Next thing, signage, super big deal. We're talking at minimum 30 plus signs. And then people don't do signage correctly. I like to start from two major traffic points away from the house and then bring them in from two different directions. And I'm usually doing, especially on the busier streets or the larger streets, three signs in a row to turn once. If that makes sense. Lastly, for signage, balloons. There's a reason why builders pay people to stand there and flip signs around. It's because it forces your eye to acknowledge that
Mm-hmm.
movement. So instead of paying for people to hold my signs up, I get a balloon. And if I do three signs in a row, I do it in the middle one, for example. And those three signs in a row, by the way, are the two, right? It's usually at minimum two, but if anything, three. You have to space them out as if you're driving. And this is where
Mm-hmm.
agents will do one, they'll walk 10 feet, put another, and then another 10 feet. It's like 20 feet isn't enough. If you're driving in a car, like think about two things. One, how much space you or how much distance you travel in a short period of time. And two, are you starting with a sign that would allow them to acknowledge, see the second one, and then make the adjustment to turn left or right? And then finally,
Nice.
I make sure that like my just like my signs are ugly, dude. They're yellow and black because I'm not interested in them being pretty. I'm interested in them forcing attention.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like your signs are it's like your signs are like skiers. Skiers want to have bright colors so in case they get lost when they're
Oh,
skiing, people
interesting. I
can
didn't
find
know that.
them. Yeah. What would be a reason why a real estate agent can't get a hold of a lot of signs?
They're not willing to pay for them. Oh, and then I think another really important one, you need a lot of directionals and you need some ones that say keep going straight
Mm. Yeah.
and like drive your signs to make sure they flow, like it makes sense. Be a buyer trying to find the open house. And if you start to feel like, oh crap, they're gonna start wondering if they lost the trail, then you need to drop a sign there or before then.
It's kind of like user-friendly signs. Yeah.
I mean, you got
It's
it.
like easy
That's the
to
idea,
make
right?
sure.
You're trying to guide them to get there.
So you said input it into the MLS, notify all the because what that does is syndicates all the like the Zillows, Realtor.coms, all that good stuff, right?
Yes, exactly.
Wait, so you said you when it comes to starting the marketing for the open house,
Yeah, I prefer it.
you
I prefer it on a Tuesday, but if anything, Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I prefer it like a
Got it.
Tuesday, Wednesday latest.
Mhm.
Because some of these like Facebook and some of the other ones, like and I'll pay for an ad to do that, right? I'll do like a property boost through KV Core. Like I'm gonna put
Mhm.
some dollars behind blowing up my open house, especially if it's the introduction to the market. Because
Mm.
that's what my first open house is. It's a proper introduction to the
Mm.
market.
Yeah.
And
Wait, do you
so
do that? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
no, please fire away.
I I was gonna say, do you do that thing that J&J does to where they have the seller sign that
It's an
on
SELM. Yeah.
yeah, there
Yep.
you go. Do
Hmm.
you sign that with the seller?
Absolutely. Yep.
SELM.
And especially because you this is where I think a lot of agents screw things up. They start the clock and then they get all their collateral and start like the marketing,
Mm-hmm.
but consumers see that clock ticking.
Mm.
So you gotta leverage that so you keep the home off the market through an SELM, get the photography done, get the videography done, get all of your marketing collateral ready to deploy,
Mm-hmm.
put it in on a coming soon and deploy. Like you need to
Mm,
deploy. So that way the first day it goes active, it's not the first day it's being marketed. You've got a little bit of a
mm.
head start and a ramp up of your marketing. And especially when you think about like Facebook or Instagram algorithms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you pay for an ad straight up through them, it's going to take them 72 hours to figure out the algorithm, what audience it should be pushing it to. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want that to be your Saturday open house and it's just figuring out who it should be sending it to.
So a real estate agent who doesn't do it correctly is they're just posting it on the MLS, which then gets syndicated to all those websites showing that there's a home for sale now. And then they try to go and do the open house, but then like it's like by it syndicating to all those websites, it's already being marketed in a way.
Bingo. That's
And so
exactly
you
right.
want, so what you're trying to accomplish is the open house is the first introduction to the market.
Yes, exactly.
And yeah.
And not only, I mean, mainly when I say that proper introduction, I mean in people showing up to see it. I want the
Mm,
looky-loos, I want the neighbors, but I also want those people who've been staring at Zillow for 3 weeks, called their agent, and their agent called me. They're like, I want to get in on Wednesday. It's like, sorry, man, open house. I want all of those
mm.
parties in there. I need people, whispering in the corner about offers and others hearing that. Like that's the environment I'm trying to create.
Mm. J&J have like they when they were teaching me how to do open houses, they taught me to do it this way.
Hmm.
And Joseph, my first listing, I had over so the Saturday that I did my open house, I had like 40 couples come in. Two agents handed me offers. I got another offer emailed to me later that night. And then I waited a week. And so, because I didn't want to like, make a decision right away based off
Yeah,
that, I waited a week and they had a couple more showings. We had in total like five or six offers. And then we sold the home, I believe it was $13,000 above market value. And
nice,
it was right under the appraisal value too.
dope.
And so, yeah. And so like it's very interesting that like I've seen the actual impact of doing
Mhm.
stuff like this. Yeah.
So it's time tested and proven. So
Yep.
that's kind of the marketing ramp up to open houses. The
Yeah.
biggest problem agents have at open houses, Cameron,
Hmm.
is that they're not having real estate conversations. They have
Ooh.
no skill set or understanding of how to navigate traffic.
Mm.
So what's happening is, and I'll give you a couple. So number one, they're not having real estate conversations. They're standing there with flyers and handing them out saying, let me know if you have questions.
Hmm.
Or number two, they're being like information Nazis and like demanding that you sign in, right?
Hmm.
But they're getting bull information because they have not provided a compelling reason why the consumer wants to give them their information.
Mm. So would you say the actual, so like if you were to quantify that problem, would it be that they're not generating leads at their open house?
Correct.
Like I had 40 people come in, but I only got three people to sign in. And so
Yeah,
those
so
three
that's
are
a
leads.
problem. And then
Yeah.
the other problem is of the three, for a lot of people, there was zero actual data. Meaning
Mm.
people did the thing. They put in Cameron Evans and then they just made up like a 999 1 2 3 4 5 6 7
Hmm.
phone number.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What would be some of the reasons? What are some things that real estate agents are screwing up on why they can't get quality information from the people that are getting into the open house, which is basically generating the leads for them?
Because they're not giving them a compelling reason as to why they would want to give them valid data.
Mm, mm,
And so there's kind of two things that end up happening. An agent doesn't have value that the consumer wants to engage with. Number two, agents for whatever reason feel like in open houses that they are obligated to give everything,
mm-hmm,
and they're not. Like there are ways in which sometimes they'll ask a question, couple questions, start to build a conversation, and then they might
mm-hmm,
ask me something that I know the answer to, but I may not give it to them and say, "Well, tell you what, let me verify or let me get with the seller to just confirm. Do me a favor, put your name and email and your phone number down. Like that way I can give you a call as soon as we're done today." And then I'll go back and I'll confirm it. I'm like, perfect. So I'm going to call you at this number or email you at this, whatever. Like, cool. And then I'll get you that info. Now they can, the consumer can say, I can justify why I'm giving this to you because it's for them, not for me.
Yes. Because now you have something that they want. So they're like, obviously
Exactly.
I'm gonna put my information in as correct information because I want something from them.
Mm-hmm. And then
That's
where
effective.
Reyes is he's probably the most effective open house
Hmm.
business generator that I've ever seen in person.
Hmm.
And the reason why is because he knows how to be very efficient in his real estate conversation, looking for and finding where to close,
Hmm.
and then leveraging video. And his close is this, like he'll have his cell phone in front of him. He's like, all right, so Cameron, I have a video series that I put together specifically for buyers like you. And what it does is it
Hmm.
walks you through the exact process of how to be successful in finding a home. This is how I help my clients beat out other offers. So no matter what the market is, you've been frustrated. I know how to help you win. Let me send you the first video right now. What's your cell phone number? And he'll do this until they give it to him. No joke. That is his, and I've seen him do it and it works. And
Hmm.
they're like, oh, my number? Like, yeah, what's your cell phone number? And he'll get their number and he'll text them the video and send them a digital business card. He's like, watch that video and get back to me today. And you're gonna see what I can do that, like, you're gonna see what I do different. And then he'll sit there and like, bing, all right, cool, you got the video, great. Or he'll ask him, like, did you get it? Did you get it? Like he's gonna sit there because then if they don't get it, he's like, wait, so let me make sure, what's your number again? Because he knows they probably BS'd him. Like he's really
Hmm.
good at that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
the other part,
John.
Cameron, like before even getting there, the bigger problem is that agents either A, just are doormats. Like, here's the flyer, ask me questions, I'm going to give you everything. You don't have to engage me at all. Or B, they come off like the Gestapo and they're like, what's your last name? Who's your agent? Have you been pre-qualified? And people are they tend to be extremes.
Hmm.
They have no way to properly transition or effectively transition into a real estate dialogue. And the way that I like to
Mm.
do it is where the consumer doesn't even know. This is all the incognito selling, dude. This is the ninja tricks right here. And we talked about this. You've heard this before, but it works. So you come in and I'm like, hey, come on in, man. I know it's a nice day out there. And I'll, hey, I'm Joseph and you are?
Cameron.
Cameron. Hey, good afternoon, Cameron. Hey, off early for a Friday, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah.
brother. Well, I appreciate it because I'm a little slow on traffic here, man. So I'm glad you're in here. Let
Hmm.
me get you started in this amazing home. This is 123 Main Street. It's about 1,800 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. So I'm gonna just kind of show you a couple things and let you get started on this property. Um, you know, Cameron, you're out looking for a home for yourself. How's it going so far?
It's going. Yeah, just looking at what the market has to offer for right now.
Yeah, just seeing what the market has to offer right now.
Yeah, we're just looking to see what the market has to offer right now. We actually just started looking,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah.
Seems like you're pretty serious. I mean, middle of a Friday and you're out here wanting to beat the crowd, man.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Right
you
before
said,
we go to, yeah,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, no,
I was
please.
gonna, I was gonna say right before we go to Costco.
Oh,
I thought
right
we'd stop
on.
by this open
Right
house.
on.
Yeah.
And you keep mentioning this is you and your wife.
Yeah, my wife, and we have one kid,
Oh, right on.
and
Hey,
another,
congratulations.
another big furry kid, which is our dog.
The big kid,
Yeah,
the big
yeah,
brother or sister.
yeah.
Right on, man. So how far
Yeah.
into like the search have you guys gone? I mean, I know you're just starting out, but have you gone through like pre-qual processes or any of those things, or
Mhm.
you're earlier than
Y-
that?
Yeah, I went through my bank to figure out how much we are like pre-approved for and all that good stuff. And
Right on.
yeah. And so but those interest rates spiked up and it almost pushed us out of the market. But our lender like works some magic and we can still like afford around the 550 price range.
Yeah. Have you guys been in a position of like writing offers or anything yet, or have you not seen anything worth attempting?
No, so not yet. We're not gonna make offers yet. My wife is still waiting on her job to see um what's it called when they actually transfer her over to the city.
Oh,
And
nice.
so
Okay.
yeah. And so we're just waiting on that. But yeah, we just like to get stuff done. So I just went ahead and went to my bank and got the pre-approval done. And then what's it called? Yeah, as soon as she, transfers over to the city, that's when we're gonna actually like really start, actively like, start putting
Getting
offers in and things
serious.
of that nature. Yeah, yeah.
Is
But
that a promotion for her?
no, they're just
Okay.
relocating her. Yeah, over
Gotcha.
here. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so, but yeah. I mean, if we, this is why I just like to go out just to see, drive around sometimes because there may be that one thing to where I'm like, all right, cool. Like it'd be cool to, you know, have the property and then, we take care of all the moving and all that good stuff. So it's not in the middle of her transitioning job to job because I know that's kind of like stressful. And
Nice, man.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah.
And you mentioned like transfer. Where are you guys coming from?
We're actually coming from the LA area.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
have a
It got
home to sell out there or no?
Yeah, we're actually just finishing escrow on that home right now.
Congratulations,
And
man. And
so
I'm sure you're a smart one, man. You're like, we're gonna squeeze out that equity and come east, man, and
yeah.
live the good life. Good for you guys.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah. And
So here's
so
what we're gonna
yeah.
do, Cameron. Thanks for chatting with me, man. Let me get you started in
hmm
this home. Let me
hmm
walk you over here. This kitchen is to die for. Who's the cook in the family?
It's like shared between us.
Okay, cool. Do you guys do a
Both
lot
of
of
us.
entertaining?
Yeah, family comes over every once in a while.
Well, let me show you how this
Yeah, for
kitchen
like a
pours
couple
right into
days.
the living room, blah, 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 and I'm gonna let you go.
Mm,
See, but
mm.
what did I not ask you for yet?
My information.
Bingo. Do
hmm
I have a better opportunity even with that conversation? I didn't try to pin you down. I didn't ask you, do you have an agent? But I'll get there. I was looking
hmm
for an opportunity. I was looking to see if you just offered it up.
hmm
You have a lender.
Yeah, interesting.
You sold a home, but I don't know if that person works LA. So I mean, I'm processing, but I'm trying to
hmm
keep it easy and light. Just and you'll notice like I'll weave in and out. Like we're moving over. Oh, she's transferring. Hey, is that a promotion? Like I'm trying to just be genuinely interested in the person. So
hmm
that way they don't know that I'm in discovery mode. Like I'm looking for information. I'm digging, but I'm
Yeah.
weaving, dude. It's just I'm trying to just have a conversation with a human being.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
It's like you're trying to yeah, go
before they get privy to it, I'm like, hey, let's let you check out this amazing house. And a lot
ahead.
of times I will demonstrate something, and if I got from the conversation, and this is just, again, I could go with a conversation and we're role playing, so it wasn't normal, but
hmm
normally I can connect with someone sooner and
hmm
ask them more questions. Like,
Yeah.
hey, so be it that you're coming out this way, like, what are you guys looking for in your next house? What'd you love
hmm
about that one? What do you want different?
hmm
And then I would know what to demonstrate. But in this situation, that would have taken too long. You have to just have a like an awareness of like where is this starting to feel like I'm interrogating or
hmm
where when are they going to start to be like this guy's questioning me because
hmm
I want to get out of there before that this time to
That's very interesting.
keep that wall down. When
hmm
I feel that wall start to come up immediately, okay, cool, Cameron, let me show you something cool about this house. Hey, listen, man, enjoy this home. I think you're going to love it. I'm here if you need anything. In fact, I'll grab you a flyer in a moment. Go enjoy. See,
hmm
now my flyer is an invitation to come and talk to you again.
Wait, so where do you set up an open house?
Usually towards the front, but I kind of want to
Oh,
draw them in a little bit. I tend to
hmm
not be right there at the front door. It's not my style.
Open it, you're like, hey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do want vision to the front door, so floor plans kind of, dictate where I can be, but
hmm
I want someone to be able to come into the home. They might be
Yeah.
able to see me, but I'm not
Mm.
standing right there where they'll stop at the door.
hmm
They can
That's very
see me
interesting.
and feel like, okay, I'm going to walk in.
hmm
Cool.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I actually went to open house recently, and it's funny because like when you're in the industry, like you just pick up on stuff. And so
Mhm.
like we walked into the open house. I didn't see the real estate agent. Like he had like probably like three or four signs out, open house. And then we went in and We walked in, and then how the floor plan was, it broke to the right, and on this side it was the living room, and on the left side was the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
and dining room area. He was literally like leaned up against the kitchen tile, and then he had like flyers like sitting on the dining room table, and then he didn't even greet us. Like he was just sitting there, and because well, he was talking to somebody else, like he was
Okay.
talking to a person. Yeah, and then we came in and we were like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Oh, hey." And so like, and then he was answering questions from this lady, and then he never got to us. Like because the lady then went to go do whatever, and then he just stood there. He was just like standing there. Every time we walked by, like I actually intentionally did it. I walked by him, and he didn't even say anything to me. He was just sitting there on the thing. And so
Wow.
yeah. And so like we asked him a question about because it looked like a flip, and so we asked him about the plumbing and stuff like that, and he was like, "Oh, like, well, I would have to ask the listing agent because it was another agent that was doing the
Got it.
open house." Yeah, and he was like, "I would have to ask the listing agent," and then the people I was with, like, she was just like, "Oh, okay, cool," and that
Yeah.
was like it. That was the conversation, and so it's like it's completely different. It seems like your environment in the open house is way different than that person who's just laid back and just like you said, like a doormat. They're just like, all right, if you have any questions, I'm here. If you want to sign in, great. If you don't, great. But you
See,
know,
and that's one of the extremes, right? And then the other extreme is they come on way too strong, following you around the house. You
mm,
know, you have to find that happy balance where I'm going to engage with you. I'm going to have a real estate conversation because if you think about it, how did I get into real estate with you?
you said how is it going?
Yeah,
You said
it's
yeah.
that's my transition statement. Now it's a really weird statement, but it's so Cameron, you're not looking for a home for yourself. How's it going so far?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a complicated sentence or question
Mm-hmm.
because I'm prefacing it with an assumption close. You are out
Mm-hmm.
looking for a home for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm immediately scrambling your brain by asking you a simple question. How's it going so far? That sounds conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So your brain is likely just going to answer the simple question. And in doing so, you're starting to give me information that I want to know.
Do you ever try to sell the home?
Yes,
Like you
that's
ever
when I
had
go
you
and
had
demonstrate. Absolutely.
oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so usually what I'll do is I do one of two things. One, if I know what they're looking for, right? In our natural conversation, I don't force it because that's when
Mm-hmm.
it gets funky. Like in ours, I know it was a role play. So I think in reality, I would have connected with someone faster because it would have been a real person, right?
Yeah.
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 And so in that case, when I hear like, oh, we sold our home, blah, hey, that's awesome. Well, in the home you just sold, what did you love and what are you looking for different? And that way, based on what my knowledge is of this house, I'm going to go demonstrate specifically what's important to them. If I
Mm.
don't get there or don't have that information for whatever reason, then I'm going to know the one or two or three features of the home that I like the best, and I'll just go show them that. The
Mm-hmm.
demonstration is really, and it doesn't take long, but if I go to a house and I'm going to, do an open house for it, I'll go find something cool and then I'll look at it real quick and be like, "Oh, cool. I see how it like pours into the living room and recessed lighting, like really nice counters, whatever." So that way when I go and demonstrate, I'm going to go, "Hey, come on in. Clearly kitchen, but let me share with you. If you can tell, like come stand behind the sink, you can see how this kitchen flows really nicely in the living space. And for people who like entertaining, kind of like you, or if you have family, you have
Mm-hmm.
beautiful recessed lighting, hits very nicely on this, quartz countertop. I mean, this is like a really nice entertaining space where you
Mm-hmm.
can enjoy it when a lot of people are here or just you and the family.
Mm-hmm.
So just a real nice kind of summation of what they're looking at, put a bow on it and go, all right, Cameron, there's so much more of this house that's beautiful like this. So you go enjoy it. I'm here if you need anything. And in fact, give me a few minutes. I'll come bring you a flyer. And I walk away.
Mm. Yeah.
Give them their
That's
space.
good. Yeah. It's like that pushing.
Psychologically,
Yeah.
psychologically, if I go in, if we lose sight of each other, they go back into their zone or their world and they recognize they're alone for a moment. And
Mm.
then I come and see them again. Psychologically, they're meeting me for the second time. Their subconscious brain doesn't recognize, yeah, I see this guy again even though I just saw him 5 minutes ago, subconsciously they're meeting me for the second time. So I have so much more opportunity to deepen the relationship, have better rapport, and I've already established more trust because it's not the first time meeting me. I'm not a stranger.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if I did a proper job of engaging, laugh, smile with each other, showed you something. All right, cool. Cameron, I'll see you, man.
What do you do with real estate agents that are showing the property to their buyers? Is there any sort of like motive, or do you get any benefit out of
When the
talking to
agent is
them?
there?
Yeah. So I say I walk in with my
Yeah.
agent and we're,
Yeah, no, that's so I treat that a little different. So normally
hmm
what I'll do is when an agent comes in and they're like, "Oh, hey, I'm the agent." "Oh, awesome. Hey, listen, thank you for showing this home. Look, beautiful home," and I'll kind of speak to the group. "Beautiful home. Your
hmm
agent, I'm sure, has all the information, but hey, if you need anything from me, I'm right here. Like, you let me know." So I
mm,
almost defer and um try my best because I don't know this person, but like to
hmm
offer leadership to that agent, like, "Hey, you're the leader, you
mm,
got this. But I'm
mm,
here if you
mm,
need anything, but I'm sure you got this handled." I think that kind of respect, agents tend to appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, nice.
And then it like, for example, if I see people walk in and an agent hands me a card and someone naturally grabs the pen, I'll be like, "Oh, no, you're good. You don't have to register. I got your agent's card. You're all set."
hmm
Again, just
Yeah, nice.
offering that real respect there.
hmm
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I just always wondered if there's any like motive for you to say anything to the real estate agent. Like, are you trying to like, and I'm just like making up stuff, but like,
Mhm.
as I'm guessing, like, um, if a real estate agent has clients that they're actually going out and actually actively like showing property with it, like maybe an indicator to you that like, oh, maybe they're doing some good business and I want to network with this real estate agent just in case they have referrals, or maybe they're out of town and they're showing property to this real estate agent. And so like I just wondered if there's any like motives for you with real estate agents walking in and
There's
such.
obviously a motive because I want to recruit them, but I found that the best way to do that is to have a memorable enough experience
Mm-hmm.
that I could call them and they'll remember me, and that's that.
Yeah.
And usually the way to do that is to offer them that level of respect, and they're like,
hmm
"Sweet." And then I'll call them like, "Hey, we just met at this open house. Thank you again for showing." And they're going to remember.
Yeah.
And then I can take things wherever I want to. But agents showing the property during an open house is, for me, one of the best indicators.
Mm. That you
I'm
did a good job.
actively looking for agents to show that home during my open house. If I don't get any agents during an open house, I'm a little disappointed
Wait, interesting. Why? Why?
because I know that I positioned my open house that they had to come at that time.
Ah, oh, interesting.
And the marketing was such that the consumer called their agent and said, "Hey, when we go homes, we see homes on Saturday, like I want to go see this one."
Mm,
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah,
I
that's really
want at
cool.
least two agents showing my property during an open house at minimum. If it's like a 4 hour, I want at least two. And then there's the whole follow up stuff, but that's different. Again, the biggest problem is people don't know how to engage in an open house. They don't know how
hmm
to leverage flyers. They don't know how to have real estate conversations. They don't know how to get good information. So that's why for a lot of times when I'm diagnosing for an open house, it's like, do we really need to talk about follow up? You don't even know how to get their email address.
You
So
haven't got to that point yet.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which I believe is like the next stage, which is like, okay, so I'm a regular real estate agent. Let's
Mhm.
say I'm an incompetent real estate agent when it comes to open houses and having very successful open houses.
Yeah.
And so like what's it called? And so the first and I'm going to share with you like how I'm actually like breaking this down and like looking at this. So I'm going like problem, root cause, impact. And
Yeah.
so the actual first two problems that you discovered is one, they have a low amount of traffic that they're bringing to the open house.
Yep.
The second one is they're not generating enough leads at the open house. Like they're
Yep.
basically not getting like quality information from the people that are coming into the open house.
Mhm.
And now the third one that you're going to talk about and most likely is like now the conversion aspect of it towards like, okay, at a good open house, you had some people sign in, you had some really good conversations, some really good like, hey, I have this stuff for you, I'm going to send it over to you. Now the now do you see any problems that now do you see any issues that come along with like after that?
Yes, big
Like
time.
done
So,
with open house. Yeah.
well, let
It's
me
just,
finish because this is like the tie-in to the next part.
yeah.
So when I go and bring them a flyer, if I don't already know something that they want from me, if I haven't found a way to be valuable, that's when I'm showing up with the flyer again because I have more rapport. They trust me more. I know this. So I'm going
Mm,
to walk up and usually come with a flyer. And just depending on the vibe, if you will, of that person, I might mess with them. You know, I'm just trying to be like I want them to experience the angles of me. Like this is who I am. Okay.
mhm,
So if I
mhm.
feel like there's um an opportunity, like I'll walk up and be like, all right, Cameron, so you ready to call the wife and tell her this is the one? You know, like I'll just to mess with them, like, you know, and then but then I'll back off from it, you know?
Mhm.
John likes to say, like, did you bring your checkbook? And it's the same kind of playful, but I don't do it
Yeah.
always. And I
Mhm,
always try to mirror my person's energy, not even consciously anymore. It's way more subconscious for me. But
mhm.
like if I could tell someone's serious, they're about their business and they're not interested in, you know, joking or smiling, I won't force it and I can still engage them. But when
Yeah.
I go back, I'm looking for something. And
Mm,
one of the easiest ways to engage what we're looking for is what's your interest level in this home? And I don't care what the answer is. It's like I love it. Great.
mhm.
Let's talk about this. What is it that you love about this home? You know, then we can start getting real clear on the path of that house. More often than not, let's just be honest, because it's very rare that a home sells from just a random buyer through an open house.
Mhm.
Um, then we start to talk about like, okay, what are the things that this home, you know, what about this home isn't working for you? And
Mm,
now I'm starting to understand a little bit better there. And I'll let them know
mm,
like, hey, here's the good news. Um, why don't we start looking at properties that will match that criteria? Often in my open houses, I'll have all the active listings in like a 5 mile radius.
mm, mm,
And it's
mm,
line item. Okay. It's just line item. Because if
mhm,
it's like, well, I really wanted more square footage, or you know, this is 1800. I've been looking 2000 and below, but I figured if the floor plan looked right, like cool. So it sounds like this just isn't big enough. You know, why don't we go look at some homes that are 2000 plus square feet for you? You
mhm,
know, so this is where now I'm starting to again assumption close, integrate myself into their situation until I get
mm.
resistance.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't get resistance at all. And it's like, cool, here's what we're gonna do. What's your email address? Let me send you a couple properties. And this is why I love having like Zenlist or like other properties that I know of. Like, hey, I know I have a listing coming up in Ranch Cucamonga. It won't be on the market for a couple of weeks, but would you like to know more about that one? No one even knows about it yet.
Mhm,
These are the things that I dangle, and they're like, hell yeah. Or hey, I've got some off-market properties. You're not finding them on Zillow or anything else. Do you want me to
mhm,
see what we have that might match what you're looking for before it hits the market? Yes, I do. Great. What's your email address? What's
mhm.
your phone number? Right.
Yeah.
And if
Uh,
it is like, again, John Reyes is, he's really good at this because
mhm,
I tend to look for value. How can I offer you value? John goes straight to the throat and he's like, I'm a better agent than anyone you know. What's your phone number? And I'm going to show you why through video. Like
mhm,
literally. And obviously he's better than that.
mhm,
I don't even know his tricks, but I see it all the time. I'm like, how the hell do you get there?
mhm. How did you get there?
And it's so
Yeah.
dry. And I'm like, oh, I would never say that, but it works. And I'm like, Jesus, John, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the ways in which when we're getting back to them, I'm looking for a question they have about the property, the fact that they don't like that home, or hell, if they love that home. I'm finding something that
Mhm,
is like, great. What's your phone number? What's your email address? I'm getting back to you. So now my follow up isn't like, you know, and don't get me wrong, it will be this, but it's not like 2 days later, like, thanks for visiting my open house, just following up. No. Hey, Cameron, I'm calling you because I did find a couple of those properties that are over 2000 square feet. I have your email address. I'm just calling you to let you know I'm sending you that email right now.
mm,
When do you and your wife have time to look at properties next? I know you're out in LA. Is it next weekend? Like, I'm trying to manage that thing. Okay.
mm,
And this
mm,
isn't based on like, let me know if you like them. Fuck that. When are you
mhm.
coming back? Like, let's do this thing. Okay. Like that's kind of the mentality there, but that's very different than, hey, we met at the open house and I'm following up. Because people are
Yeah.
like, great. And, but there is one thing that
Makes
I
sense.
think is really powerful. When you're wrapping up the open house, it could be just a simple text. I think video is even better, but have an immediate follow up of thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine how easy this would be because it doesn't you could do this one take for all visitors. You know, hey, it's Joseph. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for coming by today. I'm wrapping up the open house. It was really great to meet you. Hope you enjoyed the home. And, you know, you and I talked about some things that would, you know, add value to you. And so I'm going to give you a call in a day or two so we can make sure that you receive what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously,
Yeah.
if there's a couple of people that are really specific because they're like real buyers, hey, Cameron, it's Joseph. Great to meet you today. Thanks for coming by. Um, you know, enjoy the rest of your weekend. As promised, I'm going to get with you on Monday. I'm going to make sure that we have those properties over 2,000 square feet, and I'll reach out to you and give you a call. So enjoy your weekend. Talk to you then.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
This might depend on the conversations that you have within the open house,
Mhm.
but is there a time period? Like, how soon are you sending that follow-up text, follow-up email?
I
How
like to do
soon
it
are
as you're wrapping up the open house. Like you
mm,
lock the door because you're about to wrap up. Like do it then. And it's
mm,
kind of cool because they can see in the background that you're there.
yeah. Oh,
And
yeah,
if
very
there's a
cool.
part of the house, angle it that way.
Yeah, like the
You know what I
pool or
mean?
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly
yeah.
right. You know, my approach to follow up just in general is not that I think most agents don't love and are not effective with just this general idea of like, I'm following up because I'm supposed to. You know, it should be more based on like, you and I talked about something. I promised you something. So I'm following up on what I promised.
Yeah.
I'm delivering now. Because if you think about it, that's an invitation to follow up. Yes,
Yes.
Joseph, I want this from you. Cool.
Mhm.
You just invited me to call you again and reach out and confirm you have it in the whole nine.
Yeah. So any other issues that come along with like following up? So like I think the core of it is what I wrote down is like following up with irrelevant content or information to the person. I'm just
Yeah.
following up just to follow up.
Shotgun approach,
And so,
man. You're just trying to
yeah,
offer something. Yeah.
yeah, and that basically affects the number of actual clients that you're actually now getting from the leads that came from your open house.
Yeah.
And so, do you see anything else affecting that? Like, do you see anything else affecting the turning leads into clients from your open houses?
I think the number one thing is from that point, as fast as you can, you do a buyer consultation with them.
How do you introduce that to them? Like, and this might be specific, this might be dependent on
Yeah.
person and conversation, but
And
like,
I try
yeah,
to
how do
make
you,
it based on whatever I'm offering them, for example.
uh,
But a lot
uh,
of times what I'll do is say, hey, listen, one of the most impactful things that I do for my clients, and there's my assumption close, if you will, like I'm
mm,
just
mm,
assuming, right? Until they
mm,
tell me
mhm.
no. One
Assuming,
of the
yeah.
most impactful things that I do for my clients is, and there's two ways you could do this, okay? I traditionally call it um, a buyer consultation where we take about 45 minutes where I'm going to walk you through exactly what's going on in this market and the process so you
Mhm,
know how to win in this market.
mm,
But I've heard from another agent another approach just based on the vibe of the person, right? If they're just easily excitable, she just says, "Well, why don't we set up a time we can jump on Zoom real quick and we'll go over your needs and wants for the house."
mm,
Great. Cuz mine is definitely more of like intentionally saying, "I'm pulling you in and until you tell me to stop, you're just coming with me."
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's go.
Mhm,
Like we're just going now.
mhm,
Um, and the reason why it's important to get there fast is because this is where agents get really frustrated, where they're offering value, offering value, offering value. And it's like at some point, you need to put your stake in the ground and say, listen, I'm showing you what I do, but now it's time for you to commit to me. And most
mhm,
agents are either afraid or not clear or don't know what to do to demonstrate that value.
yeah.
And this is the good news, Cameron, is this is a required step now.
The buyer's consultation, yes.
Well, no, the buyer
Oh,
broker
oh, sorry,
agreement.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you're right. You're right. Your mind is there. You're spot on.
Mm-hmm.
It is because I mean, how many agents are going to be able to get something signed without, delivering some kind of presentation of why?
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. That's what I'm saying,
And you,
man. This NAR settlement on some levels is like a huge hookup for the industry.
yeah, because the real estate agents who have been practicing buyers consultations and they do it for every single one of their buyers, like they just, to the consumers, they just look that much more professional.
Yeah,
Like they look that
dude.
much more, you
Check this out,
know.
Cameron. Like I feel like a fucking hero this week. All right, tell you a quick story. So,
Uh,
my lender's brother. Okay,
mm-hmm,
my lender knows a bazillion agents in the freaking world, and she
mm-hmm,
referred her brother to me, which is like
mm,
not only is it like, balls to the wall, I got to perform for this guy, but I want to anyway, right? So,
mm-hmm,
first thing I do, buyer's consultation. Do it on Zoom, walk through everything. In my buyer consultation, I often talk about the day of the home inspection. This is the first time that you guys will likely experience buyer's remorse, and I want you to know it's normal. And I also
mm-hmm,
want you to know we're making zero decisions that day. Okay.
mm,
So
mm,
if it's uncomfortable that day, that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we are not making decisions that day. And in the consultation, everyone's like, yeah, no problem, whatever. And then I also talk about how we will negotiate together, right? Like this is my approach to negotiation.
yeah,
Negotiation, like proper negotiation, is not about I can scream louder. It's about us leveraging the contract, the terms, and understanding that proper negotiation is when both parties feel like they've won.
yeah,
Here's how we do it. We're going to ask for something. We're going to ask for a little bit more because we want to give the seller an opportunity to take something away. But if it's still within what you wanted, both of you win. And they're like,
mm,
oh, get it. Cool. So fast forward, got him into escrow, super happy with this home, did a home inspection, couple of bigger things wrong, like the electrical panel is just too small and they want to put an electric charger in for a car. And it's not a repair. It's just that that panel won't support another, big electrical item like that. They're going to have to upgrade. That's
yeah,
not the seller's fault. There's nothing wrong, but they're like,
mm,
shit, that'd be great if we can get some credit for that.
mm-hmm,
The duct work is all messed up in the attic. So that's a big issue. It's like 4 to 5 grand. Okay.
mm-hmm,
We came back to the seller and we said we wanted $7,250.
mm,
And we wanted the um smoke detectors installed where they were missing. Just and termite. Okay, termite was
mm-hmm,
$800. Okay, nothing.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Seller said, "I'm going to credit you the 7,250, but I just don't want to do anything. So I'm not going to do termite. I'm not going to do this. That's what the credit is for."
mm-hmm,
I had prepped my buyers the day before, like, "Hey, I'm going to go and fight for every penny that I can. That's why we substantiated all the costs, whatever." But I want you to know my professional opinion is a win would be anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000.
mm,
When we started this conversation of doing the repairs, like that's what we were aiming for. And I just want to make sure you're still good with the fact that that's probably going to change. They're like, oh yeah, we get it. And they were reminded, like, yes, we're asking for more so we can come back to where we're actually happy.
mm-hmm.
Then I got them all that money and they're pumped, dude. They're like dancing in the
Yeah.
street. I'm like a hero to them.
Yeah. I seen a very similar thing that a real estate agent did on Instagram. And it's so funny, Joseph, because real estate agents then comment. You go into the comment section and then like real estate agents are like, "Why did you do that? Like that's not ethical. Why are you doing that with the seller's money or whatever it was?" But it wasn't at all. What he did was he showed his buyer's property. They
Hmm.
liked it, and I guess the property was like 1.2 million or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And so he asked his buyers, how much would like what's your top? Like what's the most you're willing to pay for this house? And they're like, we're not going above 1.1 million. He called the listing agent and was like, we're gonna offer 980. And they were like, okay. And then they went back and forth with negotiation. He ended up getting it below 1.1 million.
Love it.
Called his clients back and he was like, guess what? I got it for 1.05 million. And they were like, what, are you serious? And he was like, yep. And so I'm gonna send over the contract right now. Da 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 da. And it's so like That's a professional negotiator right there.
Yeah.
That's somebody who understands and does like who just understands their consumer, understands the situation, and just overall, I think it's just an amazing job that he did for his client. He just saved him close to $1 million,
Yep.
and $1 million, sorry, a hundred
So
thousand dollars.
so here's
And
the challenge. Like,
mm,
it depends on markets and norms, right? Like,
mhm,
I can't call an agent and be like, we're gonna offer you this, and they'd be like, okay, let me go talk to my seller, and be like, put it in writing, dude. Like, let me see all the
mhm,
rest of it, man. And
mhm,
so that's where it gets tough. But and then at the same time, I never want to decide for my client, because what if the
mm.
980 pissed off the agent and the seller so much that they wouldn't even respond? And then you offer
Oh
them a
yeah.
million, like F you, like we hate you guys already. So
Mm,
that's why I always make sure that even though I explain and share how to deploy that approach,
mhm.
that it is always signed off on by my client.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
I'll give you another example. Okay. Same buyer on this same house.
Mhm,
We got a multiple counter offer on that property.
mhm,
We started at a million 285. Okay. That's
mhm,
what we initially offered on this home. 1,285,000. Oh no, 1,315,000. I'm sorry, 1,315,000. Okay.
mhm, mhm,
And we got a counter offer back, and it was just little terms and no question on price, but it was a multiple counter offer. Talk
mhm,
to the agent. Agent's like, listen, my seller really likes your clients. Um, she's like, we love the buyer letter. I'm like, yeah, no, shit, that's why I still do it. Okay.
mhm. Yeah.
So she's like, my lady loves your clients, so we're favoring you guys. So if you can get it signed for me, I'm pretty sure we can open escrow. So I called my
Mhm,
client. I told them those things, and they're like, Joe, should we offer more? I'm like, listen, I can't tell you not to, because we know it's a multiple counter offer. Some of the others might offer more. And then she's like, I love them, but shit, right? And they're like, yeah, we're afraid we don't want to lose this home. I said, listen, let me make another call. Call the agent again. I'm like, hey, listen, you didn't counter us on price, And I told her, my clients are thinking about offering a little bit more because they're just worried about not losing this home. And she's like, Joe, I can't answer for my seller, but I don't think that that's necessary. And I said, I appreciate that. Thank you. We'll get you your response tonight.
mhm,
Called my client back. I'm like, listen, guys, I just talked to the agent. She's not the seller. Okay, let's be clear. But she doesn't think you need to offer anymore. Like, it sounds like we're in the clear, like ready to go. They like you.
mhm,
And they're like, screw that, offer 15 grand more. And we did.
mm,
And I also think that's why when I called and negotiated this stuff, fortunately, I didn't have to go there, but I was
mm,
ready to.
mm,
Like, hey, if the seller would have came back and said, I'm not doing shit, let's just say,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Then I
mhm,
could call the agent back and be like, listen, I understand, but I want to take us not from this part of negotiation, but let's take it back. My clients could have offered you exactly what they offered, 15 grand less. And most likely, like based on that conversation, we would have gotten this property.
mhm,
But out of admiration and respect for that seller's willing, they wanted to offer more. Like,
mm,
let's find a balance here now, right? I didn't
mhm,
even have to go there.
mm,
And
mhm,
that's the other thing, that it's really hard for people to understand, even especially clients, agents too, but especially consumers. My ability to negotiate that dollar amount for them started when I showed the fucking house.
mhm.
That's when my negotiation started.
Yeah.
When people say you had me at hello, like that's the way that I try to help people understand how I sell.
Mhm,
My sales process started at hello,
mhm,
and it's not inauthentic, but it is intentional.
mhm,
I built rapport with that agent. I did my best to like understand her communication style. Like, this agent is a baller. Her and her family are a big team.
mhm,
Um, she's older. Okay, I don't know her age. I've never met her, but through her voice and all that, she's late 70s most likely. Okay.
mm.
She don't love text messages. So now I know to call her. And when I
Mhm.
call her, we have a quick chat. How are you doing? You know, like I
Yep.
know how to connect with her. And it's not
Mhm.
inauthentic, it's just based on her preferences.
Yeah.
So these are the
Yes.
ways, man, like that it's hard to explain to people, like, that's how you sell correctly.